Hello and welcome to the 11th, I believe, maybe 12th episode. I totally keep track of these things. Of Two Chicks, One Show, a show where we talk about one currently airing show, an episode a week, as it airs. My name is Tricia, and she's Kate Calabro. We are the Two Chicks. This week's One Show is Once Upon a Time, Season 4, Episode 4, The Apprentice.
All right, it's our episode 12, just so you know.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so in The Apprentice, Hook blackmails Gold into giving back his hand so he can take Emma on a date, so if he has to hold her, he can. Emma is still, like, not still, because it kind of just comes on really fast, obsessed with finding the Snow Queen, because, duh, the Snow Queen's there because of Emma. Not because of Elsa, because of Emma. Mary, David, and Elsa all looked through Storybrooke's records, and yes, everyone, they actually kept records, though they still can't find people of who lives in Storybrooke, but there's no trace of the Snow Queen anywhere. Regina can't find a cure for Marion, and Henry comes up with this new plan to help his mom get a happy ever after. And then back in Fairytale Land, we see Anna again, as she meets up with Rumple and kind of assists him in killing a man and getting a magical hat. And at the end of the episode, there's several apprentices being talked about, so I'm not sure which one is the apprentice of the title.
I don't know. I think it might just be all of them on the whole.
Yeah. Apprentices. The apprentices. Let's
start with the date, because I want to get that out of the way as fast as possible.
Whew. Painful.
Hook and Emma go on a date. And we're going to talk about wardrobe again for a second because, oh my god, Emma's dress was hideous.
It aged her. It made her look older than she was.
It made her look older while at the same time making her look like she was in high school.
Yeah.
Because it was a dress that was, like, too young for her, so you notice that she's, like, 30 whatever.
Yeah. Like, I don't know.
It was awful, and it was weird and pink and just...
And I'm like, oh my god, Emma's in a dress. Like, Emma is a good-looking woman, and she dresses very nice. Just because she doesn't wear a dress every day doesn't mean she's not, like, feminine. So, like, I don't know why everyone's like, oh my god, Emma's wearing a dress. Like, okay, she could have worn jeans. There was no need to wear a dress.
No.
But, anywho.
That dress was horrible. If she's gonna wear a dress, wear a different dress.
Yeah. She wore a dress in Fairytale Land, so everyone shut up.
I just can't. Sorry, I'm so stuck on that dress. It was awful. But Hook got to wear some normal duds this week.
Thank God, because I was really sick of those clothes he was wearing.
Seriously, and they weighed like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. How did he run so fast?
Well, apparently he's very spry.
Literally.
But yeah, so he got to wear some normal duds, and they were nice. I mean, it was basically just a modern-day version of what he usually wears.
Yeah, which was still, it was cute. It was sexy.
Yeah, I liked the shorter jacket. It cut him very well. The having two hands thing was kind of nice.
See, we're so disappointed with everything else that now we just like, critique the wardrobe. Like, this is what this show has become.
Which is hilarious because my wardrobe literally consists of t-shirts and hoodies.
Yeah, like I'm wearing like a shirt from a Quidditch match.
I'm wearing my GEEK and Sundry t-shirt and my Quidditch hoodie.
Yeah, so clearly we're great fashionistas.
We are huge fashionistas. If fashionista, it means I shop at Hot Topic and comic book conventions.
There you go.
Where I get all of my clothing. Seriously, I could show you. But anyway, enough about my spectacular wardrobe. So then the date happened and it was fine. It was kind of boring actually. Except for Hook has a demon hand.
Yeah, so Hook decides to use the exact same thing that he already blackmailed Gold with, again. He's like, listen, buddy, you're the dark one, you know everything, so let me just try to blackmail you again about your damn dagger. So, since I know your dagger wasn't switched, give me back my hand. Rumple just magically, isn't like, oh, I gotta go look for it, like, he just had it there.
I keep it here to look at, occasionally stroke it.
So he puts the hand back on Hook and is like, hey, Hook, you might want to know that you were a different man when you had that hand. So now you're not the same man that Emma likes. And Hook's like, what? You're full of shit, man. And then he goes on the date and he's like, I love how he just stares at the hand, like constantly. And my thing is, he just got the hand back. So did he have that beautiful pinky ring just waiting somewhere? Because
Yes.
he already has a jewel on it.
Yep. He probably just like found one of his old rings that he'd retired, and he's like, I need to put a ring on this.
Yeah, God forbid my hand doesn't have man jewelry on it.
Yeah, so he sort of, it's like a bad horror movie. He's like,
Yeah, like at first I thought he was gonna be like was gonna go to attack. Oh, he was gonna fight off. Stop it, twins! Like that's what.
but instead it likes to punch people.
Yeah, I like just get in fights.
Which is funny because he's not, it's his left hand, and Hook isn't left-handed.
Yeah, but he does a lot with it.
So yeah, so he punches Will a lot with the left hand.
Yeah.
Which is why I kind of buy the idea that the hand was possessed, because like he'd look at the hand and suddenly he couldn't control it and it would punch people.
Yeah, I don't know. It was stupid. It was unnecessary. So like, but it brings a bigger topic of Hook realizing that maybe he's not a good guy, which I don't really get, because yeah, Hook prior to having his hand chopped off was a pirate. And he was a pirate. Like, he wasn't an awful human being, but he's everything you would expect a pirate to be.
Yeah, like the thing that I had said earlier, after all of this happens and Hook goes back to get his hand back, he gets his hand back and then there's more threatening, and Rumple is like, oh, but by the way, that hand was never possessed, and
Yeah.
you were just doing horrible things because suddenly you had an excuse and you could do them. So that brings up one of two possibilities, or it implies two things. It implies, first of all, that Hook has no impulse control, and it also implies that he is inherently a bad guy. And I honestly don't believe that. I think he's inherently a good guy, and when he adopted the pirate persona, he tried to live up to it, and he did scoundrelly things, but he was never necessarily a bad person. Like, he may have stolen Rumple's wife, but he honestly loved her.
Yeah. I don't think he was, and like, he took care of Neil or Bellfire when he first came to, Neverland. Like, I think, Hook, before he was a pirate, and he kind of had to become a pirate under circumstances, was a member of the Royal Navy.
And
so,
he became a pirate for noble reasons. Like, the Royal Navy was doing horrible things.
Yeah.
And he was like, screw it, we're gonna become pirates.
Yeah. So, like, I'm not buying this whole, like, he's a bad guy all of a sudden. Like, it's just...
But that's the thing. So if Rumple was lying the first time and the hand isn't possessed, it means that Hook is inherently a bad guy. And that will probably come up again at some point, that Hook will be doing bad guy things because now, oh, I'm a bad guy. Or he'll just assume that he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
If Rumple was lying the second time, then the hand was actually possessed, which I buy more, because I honestly don't think that Hook is a bad guy. I do think that Rumple understands. I mean, part of Rumple's ability isn't just his magic powers, but his ability to read people and, like, know what their worst fears are. And I think Hook's worst fear is that he is inherently a bad guy.
I think he's also fears that he's not good enough for Emma.
Well,
so,
yeah.
There's that, too. So, I don't know. At the end, Hook gets back his hook. So, really, we'll put a pin in the whole hand situation. It's either going to come back again really, like, randomly, or we'll just never hear about it again.
Yeah, my opinion about the whole demonic hand storyline was either that they didn't know how to make the date more interesting, and so they decided to do that, and someone had just recently seen that really horrible horror movie, The Eye, or whatever it was, where it's like Halle Berry gets eyes that are like evil.
It was Jessica Alba.
It was Jessica Alba, sorry. Apparently I thought it was Halle Berry. Sorry, Halle Berry. Jessica Alba makes so much more sense. Anyway, or it was that they knew someone at some point was going to say, like, are you ever going to give Hook his hand back? And they decided to get the storyline out of the way so that they could move on to other things. My vote's on the first one.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess only time will tell. So yeah, but other than that, it was like a cute date. Emma's completely not even paying attention to the whole Hook in battle with his hand. Like, she's so focused on this damn Snow Queen, who she insists is in Storybrooke because of her.
Yeah, and like, where did that come from? Because if you ask me, with all the events of the last episode, yeah, obviously the Snow Queen knows her, but why wouldn't you assume she's in Storybrooke for Elsa?
Yeah, that would make the most sense. But everything apparently has to be about Emma.
Yeah, she's really self-obsessed, apparently.
Yeah, with this whole like she knows me and the reason she's here in Storybrooke is because of me and blah blah blah. Like, dude, relax.
It's not
You
all
don't.
about you.
Granted, you do find out through record keeping, which still blows my mind because they don't know who half the citizens are, but yet they keep records, that there is no record of the Snow Queen
Yeah,
anywhere.
there's no record of the persona that she's been using, the whatever her name is.
I don't
Um,
even know what her real name is, like what her
but
Storybrooke.
there's no record of her in the Storybrooke census, which apparently they took even though time stood still for 28 years.
This is true.
Um, there's no record of her, but no one thought, hey, where did this ice cream shop come from?
Yeah. There has to be like a landlord. Like, why don't you ask who's paying the rent? Or like something, I don't know.
I guess Hook owns it anyway, so or not Hook, Rumple owns it anyway.
I don't know. It's just weird.
And
And
I'm still stuck on the fact that they have census data and like they have a catalog of curses.
yeah, because then we see Regina and Henry in her like little, what do they call it? Like her little,
Her
I don't know, it's not her dungeon, but it's like her,
mausoleum.
I guess, but it's like below her, like her mausoleum office, I guess.
Yeah, the place with all the stuff.
Yeah, and she and Henry, which I think it's so great that like every time you see Regina now, Henry's just automatically with her.
Yeah, I like it. It's cute.
Regina and Henry are like checking out, like trying to still break Marion's thing, which if I were Regina, I'd just let it be.
I
She and
understand why she's doing it though, because she wants to make Robin happy and she feels responsible.
it wasn't her fault.
I
Oh,
know.
I guess, yeah.
I think she still feels like she feels responsible for probably for being okay with the fact that Marion is an ice sculpture right now.
Yeah, I guess. So she's trying to find something to cure the spell, and she can't find anything. So completely random, because apparently Henry just doesn't care about Marion. He's like, listen, Mom, just bookmark this for later. Let's talk about your plan of getting your happy ending. Like, okay. And so Henry's just like, I think I know someone that's going to know who the writer is because clearly he had to meet him so he could get his happy ending. And da 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 da, he says, my grandfather. And Regina's like, David? And he's like, no, my other grandfather, Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah.
And he, duh, Mom, God. So Henry decides to like go undercover and be like ask Rumpelstiltskin for like a job after school, though I've never seen the kid go to school past season one.
But he totally goes to school.
Yeah.
He's like in the 8th grade now.
Yeah, but like was he always in I don't know. Tony McGavin, whatever. So so of course Rumpel being like a little nostalgic because it's Neil's son was like, yeah, you could be my apprentice.
Dun dun dun!
So Henry's gonna try to like figure out who the writer is while he's like sweeping up his grandfather's shop.
And that's another thing that kind of annoyed me a little bit, is that they make, or at least Henry and Regina buys it, they make the assumption that Rumpel must know the writer or must have spoken to him or must know something about rewriting the endings because he was able to get his happy ending with Belle. And A, why are we focusing on the idea of happy endings when the story continues its life? Your ending is when you die.
Yeah.
And second, and who's to say that Rumpel's story is over and that this is the happy ending? This could be his happy middle, which is my guess. But then there's also the idea that Rumpel didn't care about what the story said about him. Like, he
Yeah.
went and made his own happy ending. He found Belle, they were in a relationship, he proposed, they got married.
Yeah, I don't think Rumpel. I think Rumpel knows who the writer is, but I don't think he has anything to do with Rumpel's current situation. Like, I'm pretty sure Rumpel did that all by himself. Like, I think everyone's just so fixated on Rumpel being such an awful guy. And don't get me wrong, Rumpelstiltskin is an asshole. Like, he's done some pretty wicked things. But so far, he's kind of isn't as awful as they're painting him out to be currently. Like,
Yeah,
even
I think
Henry
they're
is like,
definitely. I think they're setting him up to again be a real bad guy.
yeah,
We'll get to more about the hat a little later, but when he sucks the dude into the hat, I'm assuming he's now going to go after other powerful people in town.
yeah,
So I think they're setting him up again to be a huge bad guy, but he's not, at least he hadn't up to this point been so much of a bad guy that he didn't in some ways deserve redemption. It was always blamed on the whole Dark One thing and his cowardice.
yeah. And, like, you could even push it and say, like, the whole reason Rumple wants this stupid fucking hat and is capturing, like, the power of other people is that he's trying to find a loophole to bring his son back.
And also he's trying, well, at least originally he was trying to become invulnerable.
Yeah.
Which again is part of his cowardice. Is that like he wants more power because he's afraid of what he's like without it.
Yeah.
That's why he got mad at Belle originally when she started kissing him, and it was like, oh, you're making me a person again. I don't want that. That's terrifying. I will be normal and unable to hurt people with a snap of my fingers.
Yes. So I guess now we should talk about the flashback.
I liked the flashback,
I
actually.
didn't mind the flashback. I like Anna. I think.
I hate Fantasia.
Yeah. So Anna makes her way to Rumpelstiltskin's estate. And
Whatever it is.
estate, castle, I don't know what the hell it's called. I don't know. And he's like, okay, I'll tell you everything you want to know about your parents. But first you have to go give this old man who eats children some kind of liquid. She's like, oh yeah, I can do that. So then she goes in and like she starts realizing that it's poison and she doesn't give it to the guy. Then she goes back and she like lies to Rumple, but Rumple knows that she lies. He goes, well, that was the antidote. And she's like, what? So then they go back again, but it's too late, and the guy turns into a mouse.
Yes.
And you find out that this guy is the sorcerer's apprentice.
Dun 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 dun!
And he's guarding this magical box that contains the sorcerer's hat that has all the power. And only someone that's faced their darkest
It's faced the darkest side of themselves and like come out.
Solid light or something, I don't know, can open the box. So he was going to try to use Anna to open the box, and Anna's like, that wasn't my darkest thing. And then, like, not killing Rumple turns in, and then he, like, captures her tear and puts it on the dagger and opens the box. And
the tear apparently imbues the dagger with this ability forever.
Yeah.
Well, because that's how he's able to open the box now.
Or is that what you think it is? The tear does it forever, or did he do something?
No, I think it's the tear does it forever. It imbues the dagger with this ability. I think it's interesting that the whole idea of that being the thing that allows the box to open is that it has to be somebody who's pure of heart, who is able to withstand their darkest temptations.
Yeah.
Which is why Rumple would never have been able to open the box. But I think here's something that I wanted to bring up. Part of the whole deal with Anna's deal with Rumple is that she signs a contract and goes and blah blah blah, and he's like, but it was in the contract, and I'm like, people in the fairy tale land really need to learn to read contracts before they sign them.
Yeah, they're like really, I guess they're really busy that they don't have time to read them.
They're not that long.
It happens in every, like it even happened in Shrek when they dealt with, like it happens in every, like no one reads the fine print.
Read the people. If someone hands you a contract and says, sign this and I'll give you everything you want, read it.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it is. Always read it before you sign it. Read anything before you sign it. Anything written when you sign it is an agreement.
But what
Less
was
contract law.
Is that Anna, I don't know how, like, Rumple drops his dagger and, like, Anna just automatically picks it up.
Oh, I would too, though.
Yeah, but, like, she, like, I don't know what made him, the mouse fell on him.
Oh no, Rumple's afraid of mice.
Yeah, so that's his secret weapon.
We found his weakness, mice.
So the sorcerer's apprentice.
Oh wait.
The sorcerer's apprentice turns into a mouse. That's what the poison was. So it like pops on his head and he drops his dagger and Anna picks it up and then she like quickly realizes that since she's holding the dagger, she now like controls Rumpelstiltskin. So then she's like, okay, because like he's like, oh, I'm gonna lock you up in a tower and like all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my god. So she's like, okay, well, just send me back to Arendelle. He's like, okay. And he gives her the box, which has the sorcerer's hat.
Yes, she discovers first of all that he eventually does tell her what their parents were doing in Fairy Tale Land, and he says that they were there trying to find a way to take away Elsa's powers, and that's not surprising to us.
No, because they're assholes.
No, they had gone there in search of a way because they were afraid of Elsa. We don't know what happened up to that point, except for the fact that, with the hitting Anna in the head. But yeah, so they had gone there to find a way to get rid of Elsa's powers, and the Sorcerer's Hat is apparently a way to do that, as we saw later, probably because it sucks power into itself.
Yeah, I think it like rips people of their power. So Anna gets that out of Rumple. She gets the Sorcerer's Hat from Rumple, and then she's like, okay, well, now that we're all done with that, now you can send me back to Arendelle. So he sends her back to Arendelle, and she drops the dagger, and now he's without Anna, and he's without the Sorcerer's Hat.
There were a few other stipulations. All of her criteria were: you send me in the box back to Arendelle, and you can never hurt me or my sister, and you have to turn the guy back into a dude.
Oh, yeah, okay. So that's it. And then she's back at Arendelle, and she meets up with Kristoff, and she's like, my parents are awful, Kristoff. They wanted to get rid of Elsa's powers. We're all like, duh. We've all known that your parents are complete jackasses from the moment we saw them. And Elsa even knows, and now you kind of, like, have to do the one thing that you've never done in your life. You have to lie to her, or you're going to have to tell her the frickin' truth.
Yeah, and I think she should tell her the truth, but we don't know what that's going to do to Elsa.
Yeah, because Elsa is just a manic depressant that will probably, like, freeze something.
But she already knew that her parents were afraid of her. It's in the diary.
Yeah, but Anna was so certain that she, like, read the diary wrong. It's like, it's there, like, clearly. So she's like, no, they're lying. That diary that's in Mom's handwriting is a lie.
Yeah, so obviously she's probably going to lie.
Yeah.
And then that's going to come back to bite them in the ass, as does everything.
Yes. So.
Yeah. So I have a few predictions, but it's based on a much future episode. So do we have anything we want to talk about for next week?
I guess we can do like little side notes, and I'll talk to you about next week's episode, and then we can do our predictions. Okay. First off, I have no idea what they're doing with Will Scarlet. I don't know why he's such a big part of this. Like, I love Will Scarlet. I like the character, but I don't know what his deal is, and it's kind of bugging me. He breaks into the library, and he has the Alice in Wonderland book, and I thought no one wanted to hear the Alice in Wonderland story, so just drop it.
Yeah.
And it's like between...
really played that out.
Yeah, but it's like between finding the Snow Queen and finding Will Scarlet are becoming pretty much equal with our sheriffs. Like, Emma's just as obsessed with finding this one dude as she is with finding the Snow Queen.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, he's just robbing people. So, there's that. A lot of people were like, why doesn't Elsa get new clothes? And I kind of want to know why she continuously wears the same thing. Like, she's been there for a while.
Especially because, as we established in the movie, that dress is made of ice.
Yeah. And, like, Emma's walking around with the new dress. Why doesn't she just give it to Elsa?
I don't think that pink would look good on her.
Probably not. I also saw online a meme where people think that the reason, and I know you have a different reason of why Anna picked the name Joan as her alias, is that, when she does that song and she goes, hang in there, Joan, everyone's, like, thinking that's a reference to that.
Oh, it might be.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't be surprised because I said in the past that the episode where she introduces herself as Joan originally, it was written by Jane Espenson, who was a writer on Buffy, and in a 6th season episode of Buffy, they all lose their memories, and Buffy decides that she's going to name herself Joan, and I thought it was a funny callback to that. But Jane Espenson has apparently said it was a coincidence.
Oh, okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually the reason, is that
Yeah,
she did
I
something.
saw it on the internet that people all like a lot of people think it's like a reference to when she's like, "Hang in there, Joan."
I
But
wouldn't, although that reference was specifically because it was a painting of Joan of Arc. But
yeah, no, I knew that, but
no, I know
whatever.
you knew that. Yeah, so that wouldn't be surprising. I think it's a hilarious coincidence that it also happens to be a Buffy reference.
I guess we'll never know.
No, we will actually. Jan Espenson has apparently said it was a coincidence.
Oh, okay. Um, so next week,
Yes,
the
next week.
episode is very kind of like ABC Family Halloween special-ish to
Which is
me.
fun. I
Yeah,
mean, they've done a Halloween-ish episode before. They did the Doctor with the Frankenstein episode,
yeah.
and that
So
was
like
cool.
like yeah, that let's not talk about it. So it's like a night of horrors in Storybrooke as like the Snow Queen emerges and like kidnaps Elsa. The whole town is running around trying to find her. Um, Elsa's hearing Anna like saying "Help me" in the forest, and then like from what I've seen, the Snow Queen captures Elsa and like has her like I called it like King Kong like. She's like in a circle and she has her shackled to each side. And like Elsa's like, "What are you going to do with me?" And then the Snow Queen says, "I'm gonna build a snowman." And that was the end of the 30-second preview and you're just like, "Ugh."
Yeah, the heavy-handed references are getting so heavy-handed they're starting to hurt.
I did see a picture on Instagram posted by Jennifer Morrison. Is it Morrison?
Yeah, Jennifer Morrison.
Of I'm gonna try to find it now.
Okay.
Of
Um, I'm going to talk about how I'm frustrated by the heavy-handed references. It's like not
oh yeah,
just
we didn't talk about that yet.
yeah, not just the Frozen references, the snowman and the literally pulling them right from the book Snowman and other references, but the Fantasia references are getting really obnoxious. Like we've said this, I think we said this in the first episode when they first introduced the hat. But like of all of the properties they could have chosen, especially because they've been very fairy tale for the most part, they chose the Disneyest of Disney properties,
Oh yeah.
Fantasia,
Does
and one
anyone
that I
agree
think
with that?
really doesn't lend itself all that well to the way they've been doing Once Upon a Time, to like the way they've been telling stories. And now they're getting really heavy-handed about it. Like if you didn't get it from the really obvious hat that Mickey wears, here have a walking broom.
Or like even turning the Sorcerer's Apprentice into a mouse. Like I know it's not the most obvious one, but like that was the one that bothered me the most.
The broom was the one that bothered me the most because there was no reason for it. It was just all of a sudden this broom is gonna lead us to the thing. Like
I'm not going to lie, Fantasia is my least favorite Disney movie in the world. I never understood it. I never thought it was interesting. I
I
never liked
like
it.
Fantasia. Like as a movie, Fantasia's
Did
cool.
I say Fantasia or did I say Fangtasia like in True
You
Blood?
might have said Fangtasia,
I
but
think I said Fangtasia.
we're gonna overlook the True Blood reference. The accidental Freudian slip of a True Blood reference. I like Fantasia. I don't love it. I mean, it doesn't have the same like
It,
it's not as
it,
compelling
there's
to me
no
as
point.
the princess movies, but
No point of it being in this.
the only point is that hey, Disney.
Yeah.
So like so far season 4 is becoming the Disneyest of Disney seasons for Once Upon a Time, whereas before it was very much a hey, we're owned by Disney, so we can use certain things that other people can't when retelling these stories, so they're more recognizable,
Yeah.
but they still stuck to mostly the original stories.
Yeah, which are public domain anyway, so.
Yeah. Um, do you ever find that thing?
Yes, I did. So there's a picture that's posted, and it is Jennifer as Emma. Then we have Anna, Kristoff, and Elsa in the picture. And then there's just so happens to be an inflatable snowman hanging out on Main Street of Storybrooke. Do we see it?
Yeah, sort of, but it's kind of bad.
How about now? How about now? Can you see it now?
Yes, okay.
Do you see what that is? Come on.
Oh my god, does the snowman have Elsa's hair?
Are you blind?
No, I can't. You're holding up your phone to the screen. I can't see it. Just explain it.
Can you see it now?
No.
The snowman is Olaf. It's an inflatable Olaf that's like outside a hardware store for like someone's
Okay, thank
house.
you. Because yeah, no, I couldn't see it. I could see a smooshy outline of a snowman. We'll have
Because
to.
I saw it perfectly in my preview, so I think it's just you.
No. Oh, maybe it's just me. Anyway, so yeah, Olaf. We knew Olaf was coming though because there's a person playing Olaf.
No, we didn't know Olaf was coming.
I knew Olaf was coming.
I didn't know Olaf was coming.
You're obviously just not paying as much attention and not forced to watch as much ABC as I do.
Clearly, I don't work for the network.
I don't work for the network. I work for an affiliate. Anyway, so getting to far in the future predictions and thoughts. There was a photo posted by one of the showrunners of a script page for the 10th episode of this season, which is apparently called Shattered Sight. Shattered Sight. My assumption is that, as I had said in a previous episode, they are going to use at least some of the original story of the Snow Queen, which includes a mirror that only lets you see the bad things, I think, in yourself.
There's also a moment from what it looked like in the preview that she looks through a mirror next week. So
interesting. And mirrors have played a big role in Storybook in the past as like portals to other realms and stuff. So there's a mirror in the original story that only lets you see the bad things, and at one point during the story, the mirror breaks, it shatters, and shards of it end up in the eyes of one of the children, the boy of the two children, and he turns into a horrible person who only sees the bad in people, which is why he ends up going with the Snow Queen. So my prediction is that at some point during that episode, we are going to find that I think Anna ends up having that happen to her, and she ends up becoming kind of like her parents, or maybe that's what happened to her parents, and only sees the bad in what Elsa's powers are, and maybe that's why she ends up sticking Elsa in the urn. Also, I think it's going to happen to somebody in Storybrooke at the same time, that they'll do a parallel storytelling thing, and my guess for that is Belle, because she, as Anna, only sees the good in people. So I think having her turn to the point of only seeing the bad, it will also play out the Belle Rumple distrust storyline we've been building up for a few episodes. Keep in mind that episode 10 is going to be the episode before the mid-season finale.
Okay. Keeping it in mind.
Keeping it in mind.
Yeah.
So that's my big prediction for this.
So we still got 6 more episodes of this?
Well, we only had episode 4, so yeah, we've got 7 more episodes until the mid-season finale.
And then that beautiful musical comes on that I can't wait for.
Gallivant.
Gallivant. That's what I'm just, every week I'm just like, one more week closer to Gallivant.
I hope Gallivant is as fun as it looks like it's going to be.
It's going to be. It has to.
It's a musical about medieval things, but we are getting very off topic. And do you have any...
Alice Cooper's going to be on it.
What?
I think Alice Cooper has like a part in Gallivant.
Yeah. Again, we're off topic. And it is 6:34, so is there anything that you wanted to say to wrap it up, or?
No, I'm fine.
Overall feeling about this episode was kind of meh.
Yeah.
I had a lot more fun with last week's episode than this one. This one kind of angered me a lot with all the Fantasia references, and I know you feel the same way. So I think we're gonna end it there. This has been episode 12. I could just add the episodes together of 2 Chicks, 1 Show. We will be back same time next week, 6 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday. If you would like to tweet at us, you can using our handles, or 2 Chicks hashtag 2 Chicks 1 Show. You can't see her, but she's making fun of me. And
it's the walking broom. It's the broom.
We will see you next week. Once Upon a Time airs at 8 o'clock on Sundays on ABC. So long.
Bye.